Mama, take this badge off of me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting too dark.
West. Affectionately, the youngest region of Ghana is endowed with human resources. In the past, the region could pride itself with political leaders such as Dr. Hillel Mann, President of the Third Republic, Imoro Igala, Jato Kaleo, Simon Diedong Dombo, BK Adama, among others. Today, critics say the lack of political leadership is no longer an issue, but a serious crisis for corporate Upper West. They argue that in recent times, the region has no sense of direction owing to the lack of the right caliber of men and women to drive the aspiration of the people. The search for a leader has become intense among the new generation that I imagine to champion the cause for the people of the Upper West region. Among the many promising ones, the name Bernard Anbataayela Mornah brings a sigh of relief to many.
Never in my life did I ever think of politics as an option. Growing up, my biggest motivation was to become an agriculturalist. Later, from secondary school sixth form, I thought that I could join the army. And indeed, in 1996, I went and I was not enlisted by the Ghana Army into a regular army. I recall at the time that the number that I was given for selection was AR008.
The character Bernard Mornah is generally appealing to a wide range of people in the social spectrum.
I know Bernard Mornah mostly on his interaction with people, the way he handles people, his political life or activities. He's somebody who have the charisma and the ability to talk to people and to encourage them into his political thinking.
Born in Abeka, Accra, on February 28, 1973, Bernard Anbataayela Mornah hails from Sankana, a small community in the Nadoli district of the Upper West region. Born to Mr. M.K. Mwinibalara Mornah and Madam Paulina Blendi, alongside two other brothers, Francis Kumba Eredoge and Diko Mwene. Due to a strained relationship between parents, coupled with economic hardship in the city of Accra, the young Bernard's father had to stop working with the Ghana Commercial Bank to resettle in Wa after securing a job as a watchman at the Upper West Regional Hospital. This period ushered little Mornah into a new life, a marked departure from the urban life to an almost hellish village peasant life.
Ben, I knew Francis, I knew Didi.
Continuing school at Primary 3 was a difficult moment for young Bernard as he had to contend with life in native village Sankana. Apparently, coming from a marginalized, disadvantaged and desolate background, the life of Bernard Mornah probably offers a glimmer of hope for many young people with similar trending. Growing up in the rural community of Sankana in the Upper West region provided the most rewarding life for reflection. Poverty at its height compelled young Bernard to undertake all manner of survival options, including selling water in pots to market women, engaging in groundnut and rice farming, and depending on shea and other wild fruits to survive under the scorching sun.
Son and the irrigation chairman among cabbages, and lettuce, and onions, and green pepper. And among Kunampama Spua, among Mongwana Tampo, Tintantuma, Kamina Mamvako, on one name, or ye a canem a year poor, a quarter. Bonanda, over Irikubi, Kamamba Damon Town name, Tamla Anatomondatona.
On parched clothes and bare feet, little Bernard walked 16 kilometers to and from Kaleo to Sankana daily to attend school.
a la certa Kadiomi. A school captain ve mamba baby on la baby a la bella. I might no that no Kunoko Gaya, Udio, Badu, I, Otongaran. But no upon Unwa, Yena Lanyana, now out the bar, Bemi, a la compare aga wa.
As electricity was absent in many communities, moonlight served as the only source of light for night studies. Despite all challenges, little Ben remained focused in achieving his dreams.
The ECOWAS Commission elected Mai Ahmad Fati to head a 7-person technical committee. This committee, the first of its kind, also includes Bernard Mornah of Ghana and is tasked to draw up a charter on internal democracy and good governance for political parties in ECOWAS member states.
The shame of repeating class 6 whilst his colleagues continued to middle school forced Bernard to opt for junior secondary school education in Kaleu. Determined as he was to pursue his education, Bernard Mornah walked to Kaleu without any assistance for admission procedures, sat in junior secondary school Form 1 and was accepted by the then headmaster, Mr. Peter Gar. Somehow, he was compelled to rediscover his reading talents after struggling in the first year as one of the worst students. His move to junior secondary school marked the turning point in his educational life. Bernard Anbataayela Mornah education was perhaps a sweet accident because after his BECE, it was just impossible for him to envisage further education beyond the great barrier between poverty and education. But somehow, he made it to the secondary school. Coping with life in Laura Secondary School presented another challenge to young Bernard Mornah. He could not afford basic school needs, but his sheer determination to appease his father kept him to his studies.
He was a little boy, but very hardy. So because he was hardy, he easily found himself, accused. Because people thought they could make him mellow, so they always try to find fault with him, but he will end up getting his way clear and out. He is trying to let society, the religious society, benefit from, his steadfastness. He was steadfast, and I think he wants to play that leading role wherever he finds himself. Our congratulations to him and urge him to go on with whatever and wish him success in whatever he wants to achieve.
In 1989, when I went to Laura Secondary School, by then, he was a year ahead of me. If you are to talk of somebody in terms of character, if you are not of good character, you cannot be the bellboy of a secondary school at that time. Because you must be disciplined in terms of anything at all that you can talk of. If you have a second circle institution. But when I was there in 1989, he was our bellboy. For bellboy, time consciousness, anything at all that you can think of. Bernard Mornah, he was our bellboy at that time. He was there, somebody like me, I didn't have anything to do with sports. But you could find Bernard Mornah on the field, volleyball, he was there, football, he was there. And even the classroom, anything, extracurricular activities apart from the academic work, was always everywhere.
Laura Secondary School presented the opportunity for young Bernard to rediscover his purpose for life. He had the occasion to teach some of his seniors how to solve academic problems in accounting and commerce. Developing into a bright student, his organizational skills and leadership qualities began to take shape. Young Bernard was appointed the school bellboy. He organized his classmates and led in discussions, and in 1992, he formed the Business Students Club, which was later replicated in other schools in the region. In June 1993, he sat for the GCE Ordinary Level examination and obtained a Division 1 and gained admission into Tamale Secondary School. Amidst other challenges, young Bernard Mornah once again was successful in his sixth form advanced education. In 2000, Bernard Mornah gained admission into University of Cape Coast, where he read Bachelor of Arts degree in Sociology and Economics. He was admitted into Casford Hall. He became the Miss Bowler in 2001, a title reserved for social actors on campus. In the university, Bernard Mornah joined the basketball team of Casford Hall and later joined the university basketball team and was made the captain. Mornah led his school team to 2 university games in 2002 and in 2003. He contested for Student Representative Council Presidency (SRC) and failed to win. He again contested for the presidency for the National Union of Ghana Students (NUCS) at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology campus, but lost in 2002 once again. He was, however, awarded a Bachelor of Arts honorary degree in Sociology and Economics upon completion of his university course. In 2005, Bernard Mornah opted to apply for a master's program in International and Development Economics at Hochschule für Technik und Wirtschaft, University of Applied Sciences, Berlin, Germany, thanks to Miss Catherine Meissner, who was instrumental in his attaining this stage of his education, after several years of failed attempts to gain admission in Ghana to do a master's program. Bernard Mornah was among 28 students selected from over 350 applicants worldwide. Schooling in Germany offered Bernard Mornah the opportunity for cross-fertilization of culture with students from varied backgrounds and nationalities. While schooling abroad, Bernard Mornah had to combine academic work with his work as the PNC General Secretary, a task that was demanding of him to keep abreast of political happenings in Ghana in order to issue appropriate responses in national discourse. Bernard Anbataayela Mornah entered into active politics in 2000 as a sympathizer of the National Democratic Congress (NDC), but fell out when the party failed to address grassroots concern for popular contestation for the selection of parliamentary candidates at the constituency level.
Many have said that you should have joined the NDC for easy political rise. No. I want to join so that I'll be part of the story of bringing up a political party. That is one. 2, of ensuring that it is not all of us just follow the crowd. And that there are those of us who distinguish between following the crowd and putting up an idea that the crowd should follow. I want to set things running and not setting me running. And that is why I chose the PNC, where ideas are abound about how we will address the peculiar problems of our society.
In 2001, Bernard Mornah opted for the People National Convention (PNC). He founded the Tertiary Institute Functionaries (TERIF) PNC in the University of Cape Coast. After completion of his studies, Bernard Mornah played an influential role in organizing the youth to become equal players in political discourse, facilitated the training of youth campaign teams, and developed a long-term program for action for political parties. As an activist, he worked as a student political leader of PNC, became the national youth organizer, and presently the General Secretary of the People's National Convention. Politically, it's been a long way coming for Bernard Anbataayela Mornah. Between 2001 to 2002, he founded the Tertiary Institutions Functionaries (TERIF) PNC in the University of Cape Coast. In 2004 to 2007, he was appointed the National Youth Organizer, contested the 2004 WAS Central Constituency parliamentary elections. Despite losing the election, Bernard Mornah placed second in a contest among 6 other candidates. Bernard Mornah again contested against 2 others and won a landslide victory with 73% of the votes to become the General Secretary of the People National Convention (PNC). He represented the party at many national and international stages. In July 2010, Bernard Mornah was selected alongside 6 others into the Interim Steering Committee to draft a charter for the Forum of West African Political Parties in Abidjan by ECOWAS. In 2005, Bernard Mornah alongside Kwesi Pratt Jr., Alhaji Ramadan, Daniel Ofori Atta, Alexander Atta, Davis Percy, Emilia Atta, and later joined by others, including Obed Asamoah, Beat Ziadem, formed the Committee for Joint Action, CJA, a pressure group that struggled alongside the people of Ghana for better living conditions. In 2006, Bernard Mornah left the country for Kenya for a brief respite because his life was under threat as a result of his active involvement in political activism, upon the advice of a friend who was head of an international civil society organization in Ghana. Whilst in Kenya, Bernard Mornah was attached to Youth Agenda, where he was inspired to stay in social political activism by some comrades like Mr. Kepta Ombati and Ndolo Asasa Esquad, among others. At the end of his 3-month stay in Kenya, Bernard's revolutionary excitement heightened. And so, upon his return to Ghana, he formed the Concerned Ghanaians, another pressure group that resisted the imposition of representative of the People's Amendment Bill, RUPAD. On February 21st, 2007, he led a massive direct action to present a petition to President John Agyekum Kufuor at the Castle Osu. Bernard Mornah worked in both private and public institutions, including Internal Revenue Service, Upper West Coordinating Council, Beacon Insurance Company, Law Associates, Private Legal Practitioners, First Youth Agenda, and Institute for Policy Alternative as the Development Officer and Research Fellow. In 2009, he worked as a Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Local Organizing Committee for the Africa Hockey Cup of Nations. From 2009 to 2010, he was a secretary for the Kwame Nkrumah Centenary Planning Committee and formed part of a team that planned and implemented a program befitting the African sage of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. The celebration attracted internationalists like His Excellency Abdoulaye Wade of Senegal, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, a founding president of Zambia, Ambassador Dudley Thompson, among other important dignitaries. Locally, he has also made some strides to better the lots of his people.
Now, you would also recollect that in spite of his difficult background and the constraints that characterize his own life as a young man, he has always come up tops in as far as sacrificing towards the cause of the Upper West region in particular is concerned. For instance, last year when we had the National Unity Games in Accra, Bernard Mornah was the first son of the Upper West region to have donated a consignment of drinks and some amount of cash to the sporting contingent of the Upper West region at that particular event. He visited the Fadama market, where the livestock markets, which we call Fadama, and the people had a plethora of problems confronting them. One of them was with regards to where they could attend to nature's call, talking about men and women alike. And he took that particular initiative of donating quantity of cement to the leadership of that particular market. We have a young man who has established an international secondary school or a private secondary school in the Upper West region,